Hello and welcome back to Spekd. Today we're going to be looking through Warhammer Conquest issue number 65. Okay, full disclaimer, these are going to be some great models, but I've already got them. So, I'll show you my old models that I painted before, maybe about 2-3 years ago. But either way, let's get it started. Let's get it opened up. Oh, I won't give away too much, but open, behold the opening, the power of the opening. Don't put this in the ocean because turtles think that they're jellyfish. Thanks, Spekd Jr. for telling me off about last time. She's very conscientious about the environment in a good way, not in a weird way, but in a really, scientific and quite surprising way. Got to give her more credit. Very, very smart. Anyway, let's continue. So the magazine we have here has models on display. We've got a $7.99 tag. We have our locations as always. But what have we got special going on here? We've got our same old 2 Marines. We've got our warnings on there. And the colours are really bad on this. No, just no. I'm not feeling this. If they were going to be going for like a goldish colour here and be like, oh, we're going to go gold because these are hero characters, I would accept. This weird khaki colours is just lost on these two. And it doesn't even necessarily make the models pop. Bad design work there, bad design. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. Let's have a quick look at spruce check. Make sure the sprues look good and healthy. Because you know how it stays with these. Apparently some people lose and I just keep winning. No brag, but that's alright. Maybe they're watching, Hachette is just watching what I do, making sure they're not sending me dodgy sprues. That would be sensible. No, that's all good, that's all clean. You can see the weaponry there. So just in case you haven't seen these before, these were out and about 2015. And they came in the, I think it was the Betrayal at Calth set. We had the 2 Space Marine armies. And these were on opposing teams, these characters, but obviously you can paint them up the same. And I use one as a chaplain, even though it's a captain with a power mort, I just use it as a chaplain, and that looks like an interesting Crozius. What the 40k recently did a conversion where he used the head of this mort as a chaplain power mort, which is really good. And then we have a Cataphracti Terminator captain with a multi-melter. And again, that's like a really good weapon to have on the table. And a chain fist, we don't see those quite often now. But with the Terminators, the assault Terminators, they are very good. Okay, so that's the sprue. Base is there, large base, medium base, standard. It is what it is, and I'll show the models at the end. Alright, let's get into the magazine. Right, let's open this up. Oh, look at that. That is impressive. Blood Angel Terminator emerging from the darkness. Yes. Okay. Gone the wrong way about this. But that's the first thing I've seen, opening right up. I think this is as close I've actually gotten to the character face for a Terminator. And that's really good to see, especially small little details like this. Now I've got to push my painting to include that on every single model. It's never happening. Okay, look, let's pause. Let's go over here. So we get to see Terminators, and you guys know I love Terminators. Now, the way that Conquest works normally means that when there's something which is in the magazine, it kind of reinforces rules that they want to put forward in the normal 40k game. Could this mean that we're going to see an enhancement on the Terminators or something coming? I really hope that's the case. You know, we keep seeing it with the whole Blood of Baal. I think it's the last magazine. Anyway, we've got Khorne Showcase, the Tyrannic Wars, Space Marine Hero Build and Paint. I'll show you what I've got, but I will run through this as well. How to do army lists. Let's have a look. And a couple of missions there, and that looks really good. Oh, the data sheets. We haven't seen some of those for ages. All right, okay. So we've got information on Terminators. What can I say? These are like the precious, the best of the best. Placing these armors, go and deal with everything in the universe. This is it. Mobile tanks. Just one step short of being in like a dreadnought. but retaining all your limbs. So we see a lovely Space Wolf Terminator there, with assault cannon and chain fist. It's a beautiful combination. They are slow moving, but let's just face it, with assault cannon, nothing's gonna outrun you. So we've got more Terminator Armors there. I think one of the most famous Terminators has to be Abaddon. At the end of the day, he wears his Terminator armor and it is just crazy good. So we have information on Khorne here. Now, I mentioned this last time that is one of my favorite factions for, you know, other than Nurgle, from the Chaos Demons. It's just combat, war, all the time. All the time. And these remind me of Crimson Slaughter set that I first got when I was younger. But effectively, the realm of Khorne is all about war, combat, blood. You know, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, all of that jazz. That's what this is all about. And they have a group called the Berserkers. Now, they belong to Angron as their Primarch. I currently don't know what's going on with his character, but he is literally insane due to a thing called the Butcher's Want Nails, which have been implanted in his head. So thinking for him is hard, but also he's raised in a gladiatorial world, whereas the other Primarchs kind of got flowers and ice cream. He got violence, pain, and maiming and killing. It's an amazing story. We have a Bloodthirster here. Yeah, Bloodthirster, there we go. It's right there, always looking. Bloodthirsters here. Now, these are like the main demons from Khorne. These are the ones that got to the furthest point, and they're the top of the food chain, apart from Khorne, the god of war itself. Now, speaking of Khorne as a god of war, apparently Cain, I believe, if I remember his name, the elven, or what's it they called? Blast! Not the elves, space elves. The Eldari. There we go. Apparently, he is the same chaos entity which bothered them. So I don't know if it's the same thing or not officially, but someone could definitely tell me if they're in the know. We have some models there from the armies of Khorne, the demons, the Neverborn. So you've got your bloodletters, your hounds, your possessed marine. Okay, when like the Marines are possessed, or you know, when Marines become demon princes, a lot of people think that that's actually them gaining power and getting additional things. No, that's the essence of the warp, taking over you and rewriting your personality and becoming that thing, having more of a place to stay physically within the realm. So the more powerful the container, the more powerful the creature that lives in it that can then possess and hold into this realm. I think of it like a Swamp Thing, how the original character that was Swamp Thing, can't remember his name right now, Alex something, he falls into the swamp, he gets eaten inside out by the essence of the swamp and the contamination of this thing, and he get access to the green and Alan Moore stuff, so it goes a lot deeper. But he's no longer the original person he was. It's like an imitation of the person made from the essence of the swamp or the green, the environment. And it's the same kind of thing, I believe, with Chaos Demons, which are like the demon princes and the possessed. So they're no longer who they were, but they're just a copy, embodiment, container for the warp, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, just ignore me. Back to the Tyrannic Wars. Now, with the Tyranids and the Blood Angels, as I said, these two are my favourite armies. There's no two ways about it. They're so much fun to play, and I really do enjoy them. Blood of Baal recently has come out, so this is like supporting material to go alongside that, I believe, but the descriptor, the information based on that war is here. It is still ongoing, and there's still some fantastic things happening. And funny enough, Baldermore, which is a channel, he just does like fantastic audio readings, and I listen to them as I paint, and you know, it really fires up my hobby kind of fire, and I kind of get a 2-for-1, because as I'm listening, and that's content from the book, I'm getting to still kind of paint, whereas I would have to read the book and then I won't be able to paint because I'm reading it at the same time. So it's a twofer, so go and check it out. Really cool guy. we have some Tyranids. High Fleet Leviathan is the one that I play, but currently Kraken is the one, and Behemoth that most people care about. But these are the guys I play because they got the most interesting look about them, and they are the spearhead of the Tyranid forces. So any adaptations these guys make, all these other guys get later. So Space Marine Heroes build. So nothing special there. Yes, you can glue everything. Feel free. Nothing's gonna fall apart on you. So the build guide there. Now when it comes to painting up our heroes, base colors, they've now kind of condensed all of these steps into this one thing. See, that is the Inquisition coming now because I mentioned my love of Tyranids. No, okay, stopped. Can't even edit that out. They've got a nice little effect here on the Crozius for marbling. I actually really like that. It's a really good way. It's how I do my bases for my Age of Sigmar models. Totally different thing. Nice work there on the captain. I'll show you mine. Let's see what else they've got. So we've got our bases. We know about that. We know shades, and they've got a nice little breakdown there of which shades to use where, and that's really good. That's really handy. They should expand that for you. And in fact, there was a poster that came out in a White Dwarf with the colors and the shades. Well, just with the colors and layers. I think they can do that with the shading to give you some really nice effects. Highlighting, we know about highlighting, so we've seen that. It's good to see scroll work there. Let's have a look. Anything else we want to pick up? Okay, so they've been focusing in on a plasma. As long as you've got your layer effect, you can shortcut this without putting down that base color. If it's just black, you can just run the layer paint on top. As long as you hold it at an angle so everything's come straight down as rivets, and if it's watered down enough, that would just fall to the bottom. So it would be like underneath is dark at the top, but at the bottom would be really light where the pigmentation's collected. And it looks like the gun is off for the minute. It's really good. It's a really nice effect. I use it in my plasma vents. And there's a multi-melter weapon. There you go. Or combi melter. Sorry, combi melter. It's really good. So army lists. We're looking in now how to build our army lists. So we're getting quite a lot from this. I still feel that you wouldn't need to get the codex, even though you're getting all of this information. You'll still need to get chapter approved 2019 currently as it stands. And other than that, I think you can get away without having to buy the base book due to the content they have here. Yes, because chapter approved actually has the points, so you could use a point system here. So there we go. So here's the army roster list that you fill in, you show to your opponent so they know what you've got. If you're building an army, and this is a bit tricky, because even though it has a number of models and the power ratings which you find on the data sheets, they don't have the individual points cost. So if you're playing to a set amount of points rather than a power total, that could be quite distracting. It's good for intro games and using the models as they are. So don't add any special weaponry, and it works out roughly okay. But the moment you add in special weaponry, it's a different game. So our mission here, leading by example. Oh, missions are getting rough now, aren't they? Cool. So everything's expanding. Again, it looks like Death Guard are effectively just winning. I wonder how they're going to end this story. So we've got our coordinated strike, and this map now is giving us power rating that we can use. So we're going to be using a roster sheet that you can copy as many as you want. So the missions to be played full time must include one captain and different captain each mission. Death Guard player may only use Typhus in one of these missions or playthroughs. Yeah, it's a bit heavy if you just got Typhus. And the rest of it, you just make up to your 25 points. So your deployment, you can just set up your mat as you want. You've got a nice little grid there. I'm not too sure why. Maybe that's just a stencil for what they have for these mats. Just grid for keeping size comparison. Okay. Can't tell you who's going to win because we haven't really got a choice of who's going to win. Options to choose from. So we now got another sheet, our stat sheet there. We have our captain and Cataphracti Terminator Armor. I was just looking there to see if they had Shock Assault, which is a new rule for the Space Marines. It was a bit hopeful. It's not in there, but it would be amazing if they did. So just double checking that. Okay, we've got our closeout, the back sheets. We know which side we're using that on. It might be worthwhile getting, you know, one of those pocket sleeve folders so you can flick through and have access to which side of the army you have. Now that could be handy. But again, the codexes are updated now. So the additional rules that you get here, Space Marine Codex, is a lot better than this. But this is good just for playing for starters. What would I say? Yeah, definitely get hold of that, your chosen Space Marine supplement as well. I'm not trying to sell the Games Workshop stuff, but if you're playing a competitional game, you're gonna, you know, like competitive, then you're really gonna want those supplements and the new codex. Otherwise, you could get away with a cheap eBay issue, you know. Don't get me wrong, they're still out there. And chapter approved isn't necessarily the be all and end all, as long as you have both parties using the same sources for your points, then technically it adds up roughly the same. But then if you take those out and go out and about with those armies, if people are using the up-to-date stuff, then, you know, to play to fit in, you really have to. Okay, so our next issue, the Icon Bearer, which I don't know much about him yet. And we have some more scouts, but we've got a missile launcher and snipers. Definitely build this guy. You're gonna need him, even if you put him in the other group of snipers you have. I'm not a fan of these white trousers business for being, you know, scouts. Okay, anything else there that's spectacular? Okay, well, let me get the models together, and I think I'll just show you them now, and we'll go from there. At the end of the day, this issue, for me personally, was a little bit lackluster. If I had just started out and I was getting 2 captains, these aren't Primaris models, and even though I love my classic Marines, they've kind of like shown you the Primaris range and kind of put that on you. So having these captains, I don't know, it just doesn't suit the whole kind of aesthetic that they're going for, considering that you do have your Gravis captain and you do have your captain with power sword, and they've given you so many lieutenants anyway. I'm just wondering why they went down this route. Either way, it's been okay. I've enjoyed my time. I hope you've enjoyed yours. And for once, I did a recording during the daytime. I actually got light to see and I'm not exhausted. Anyway, look, you let me know what you think. At the end of the day, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy. At the end of the day, I think that's where my next win is, whereas everything else is kind of been repeating recently. But that's okay, it is what it is. We're filling out a base box set, we're filling out our first starter models, we're getting used to them and we're playing them, and that's enough for now. Either way, this has been Spekd. I've enjoyed my time, I hope you've enjoyed yours. I'll catch you again soon, and PC